In this video, we're going to cut the template, the new laminate, and then install it. First, I laid the old top onto the wood that I was going to use for the pattern. I clamped it down, and then I trace it to get my new pattern for the template. Doing this, make sure that you have all of your corners completely square. Next, I set up a jig, measured my corners from the jig to the corners of the wood just to make sure that it was square and on the line that I had already marked. This way I can run my circular saw straight down the jig without having to worry too much about going off. Next, using a drill bit large enough for your jigsaw blade, drill some starter holes so that you can get your jigsaw blade in there. Then using the jigsaw, cut out the holes that you have marked from the last template. After that, pretty much done with the template. We're going to go in and check the fit. Now checking the fit, make sure that all of your corners are completely square up against your wall and make sure that everything fits absolutely perfectly. If your template fits perfectly, you can skip this point, but I'm going to use the old laminate top so that way I have an exact duplicate. So what I'm going to do is get this top set on here, square my corners away, and I've also got it reversed so that way I can do a complete reversal. I'm going to screw holes in it so that I can put screws in, and I'm going to screw it to my actual template. Once I've got it screwed to the template, now I can actually run the bearing over the edge and get an exact duplicate. So now I'm going to go ahead and file down all the extra edges, making sure I've got completely smooth edges. Now you'll be doing this with your straight template if you're not using the old top. Next, we're going to set up the router using a flush trim bit. Make sure that you have the bearing set on the edge that you want to copy. In this case, it's going to be the edge of the old countertop. And I've already drilled starter holes into the laminate. I'll set the router in the hole, check my bearing height, and then go ahead and cut the hole. Do this with all the rest of your holes that you have for your sink and probably your faucet. Next, go along the edge, cut your edges off. Always check and make sure that your bearing height is set and it's running along the edge that you're trying to copy. Clean up your edges and then check your fit. It should fit absolutely perfectly. If it doesn't, make sure you trim it up. If it's too short, you're probably going to have to cut another one. After checking the fit, we're going to prep the top for the installation by sanding all the old contact cement off. Hand sand in all of your corners and edges so that way you can get everything out of there. Vacuum, you don't want any kind of extra debris underneath it. And then I use mineral spirits to clean the top. Using mineral spirits, clean your surface area, and then we're going to tape off and get it ready for the contact cement. Using the contact cement, go ahead and pour it onto the surface, get you just enough to where you think you can cover your surface with it. And I use a roller, and I actually buy the long rollers and then cut them in half and then fit the small ones. It saves a little bit of money. Roll your contact cement out. Make sure you get an even coat. Watch the little glue strings so you don't get them everywhere. Then use a small brush and get in all of your cracks and crevices and corners. Repeat the same process on the top, cleaning and rolling, and then you're going to wait about 2 to 4 hours for the contact cement to dry. Contact cement only works when it's dry. Next, I laid dowels down to keep the top from sticking to the counter when I don't want it to. Position your top. Make sure it's square. And then pull one dowel out at a time, rolling as you go with a laminate roller. Working from the inside out, pulling your dowels out as you go. Once the dowel's out, I use the laminate roller and using a very hard pressure, go over the whole top to make sure it's firmly in place. Next, I'll take a flathead screwdriver, put it into a soft rag and run it around the edges, pressing very firmly to make sure that the edges are seated properly. After cleaning the top, the installation of the new laminate top is complete. Join me in the next video, number 4 in this series, where we install the sink, faucet, and the teak rails. Thanks for joining me, and have fun doing your project.